everyone, it is Katie here with the Lunar Moon again. I wanted to do a monthly reading for the month of December, and I did things a little differently this time. I thought it would be nice to have a little variety and we could do a pick your card reading. So I've got 4 groups here, and I want you to just kind of go with your gut and pick the group that you are feeling. The stones that I have to indicate each group are just there to help you kind of decide. Our first group is like a clear quartz. Our second group is a pink quartz. Our third group is a citrine. And our fourth group is fluorite. So once you have picked your group, go ahead and find the timestamp in the description and go to your reading. Hey, clear quartz people. With your reading, I can tell that you are probably a little stressed out this month. This is a stressful month for you. We've got, well, for what's coming your way, we've got the 9 of Wands and the Fragrant Field. And I think, so the 9 of Wands is saying that I'm thinking you have like a commitment that you're afraid to make, or maybe you said you would help out with something and it feels like it might be too much. Maybe you're feeling like you don't have the resources to do what you need to do this month. Maybe you're feeling like you're scared of the responsibility that's coming along in December. And with the Fragrant Field is indicative of a bounty. It could be a potential soulmate that's coming into your life, or that's already in your life who is going to be an ally in this event. But it's specifically telling you that, you know, just go with the flow and you'll find fulfillment in whatever is coming your way. And specifically with the 9 of Wands being reversed, it seems like what you're stressed about or what you're worried about, it doesn't really have a lot of ground to stand on. It's probably mostly in your head. Like maybe you're just overthinking things. And so I would use the Fragrant Field as a tool to kind of get yourself out of that headspace. Whether, you know, like I said, it's a person in your life, or it's just letting things happen the way that they're going to happen, going with the flow. And so for how you can prepare for this event or whatever it is that's got you sort of stressed out or, you know, a little bit uptight this month, we've got the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is a card of intelligence, authority, definitely like ideas and action. And he is telling you to take action. Whatever it is that you're like on the fence about, he's telling you to make that choice, make that decision, and roll with it. Act quickly and with clarity in your mind. And then for your Carrot card, you have Dew on Grass, which I love that card for some reason. I love the Carrot cards. I think they're just darling. A little too, like, this is all very springtimey for a December reading, but we're at the dawn of a new decade, so I feel like it was kind of fitting. And with Dew on Grass, we have symbolically represents a rare treat. And what it's telling you to do is to relax in order to find happiness. You know, sit back and enjoy the little things, definitely. It can also be like a representation of a transformative person in your life. So I don't know if this is going to be, again, a new person coming into your life or somebody that's already in your life. It's going to be somebody who can help you maybe make a few internal changes, or maybe even external changes in your environment or the people around you. And that's going to help you kind of relax and enjoy the small stuff. And this month, especially with the holidays and maybe family around or friends, relaxing and enjoying the small stuff and not overthinking or stressing too much about the situation. For an advice card, you guys got the Page of Cups and the Cows. The Page of Cups it's a card of emotion, fulfillment, a new look on life, kind of like a creativity, definitely. embracing your ideas, letting out your inner child. And with this card reversed, I think definitely it kind of harks back to the main card. We are overthinking things and we're kind of trying to like hound ourselves down, and I think maybe trying to be a little too good at what we're doing, or we're just like we're living in it too much, and we need to let our inner child out and feel all of those fresh, you know, feelings that you feel when you're a kid, and stuff's happening around you, like everything's new, you're seeing everything for the first time. And I think this card is telling us that we need to do that. With the cows, the cow card is a symbol of casual friends. It's also a situation, it could be like passing contentment, something like just to get you by, nothing that's like a big deal or a big change in your life. And it can actually indicate a selfish person in your life. And so there's a chance that that is a big reason why you're feeling so much pressure, or you're feeling so much stress. And with the cows, what I really think this card is telling you is that nothing lasts forever. Like nothing is permanent, and not in like a bad way or a scary way, but sort of just like, you know, go with the flow. Go with the flow and sit back and relax. Enjoy the small stuff. Like this might seem like a huge deal right now, but it's really not that big of a deal. It's gonna be gone and over with as quickly as it came. And you know, it's gonna be a whole new December in another year before you know it. And that's okay, you know, even if things go poorly or if they don't go as you planned, like it's okay. Nothing lasts forever. Like you will recover, the world will spin madly on, and you will be a part of it, and it's gonna be fine. That's what I think the cow card is really telling us. But again, it could be, like I said, like a selfish person is having this influence, and that's why there's so much weight on our shoulders, or added stress and worry about our responsibilities. And it could be a mix of the two, definitely. But even with that person on your shoulder, like, oh well, don't sweat the small stuff. Like they will get over it, and if they don't, that's kind of their problem, not yours, right? Why carry their stress with you? It's just not worth it. And then for an overall advice card, or your major arcana, you guys got the Justice card, and it is reversed. So I've got a few ideas. The first thing that comes to mind really is that selfish person. I'm thinking that, you know, it's the Justice card, it's cause and effect, or it's clarity and truth, or, you know, sort of like the fairness of a situation, definitely. And if you are letting somebody get away with disservicing you, or you're letting somebody get away with things that you aren't really that happy about, I really think it's time to kind of reconfigure and redefine our boundaries and our expectations of ourselves and the people around us. And so if this is your group, if this is the reading that you got for December, I think December is the month for you to do that. You've got a lot of people coming in and out of your life, like I said, maybe traveling, maybe being in other people's homes, having people in your home. It's going to be stressful in many ways, and if you are turning a blind eye to things, whether it's at home or at work or in your personal life, maybe it's time to stop, and maybe you just want to backtrack and kind of redefine yourself and your boundaries and what your expectations are of the people around you, so that you know that they know. And if they keep stepping on your toes, or if they keep taking advantage of this kindness that you have, or, you know, this patience of yours, then there's going to have to be a confrontation, or a change is going to have to be made, because, you know, it's not serving you, and it's not doing anything for them really, and it's causing you a lot of stress and strife here this month, and you don't want to go into the new year with that same, you know, mentality, or you know, that same stress on your relationships either. So I think that's what the Justice card is telling us here in this reading. So yeah, my quartz people, that is your December reading. Hopefully it resonated with you and said some stuff that you needed to hear, or gave you a new perspective on what is coming this month and what you've got going on. And I really hope that it serves you and does something good for you. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. Pink quartz. This is an interesting reading. It's interesting to me, at least. So we have the Eight of Wands and the Wolf for what is coming in December. And the Eight of Wands tells me right off the bat, you are going to be busy. You're going to be a busy, busy little bee, and you're going to be pretty happy about it. There's not going to be a lot of stress in the fact that you're working a lot or you're doing a lot preparing quite a bit, or whatever the case may be for you this month. You just kind of have this big burst of awesome energy, which is great. It seems like you kind of had some weight on your shoulders in the past, and you decided to unload it, and now you have this bright, uplifted, lightened feeling, and you are on the move. You hit the ground running, which is awesome. You also got the Wolf card, which I think is super interesting because the Wolf card is danger. It can indicate a dangerous person. It can indicate a bad ending, or kind of heavy trials, something that hard stuff to deal with, basically. So I'm not sure if that means there is sort of like an enemy or a foe coming into your life this month, whether they're new or old, just somebody revisiting you perhaps that you could do without. It could also potentially just be like the way that you're thinking. Maybe you've kind of built this habit of thinking about things that just makes it harder on you than usual. And so that's going to kind of be in the back of your head, or you're going to be kind of perpetually fighting that habit or fighting that instinct that you have. And that is what December is bringing you. With how you can prepare, we have the World card, which is a big deal. The World card is a sense of completion, not just in the month, or it's more like this whole phase of your life is coming to an end. Whatever phase of life you're in, whether you were in it for a year or 6 years or what, this is a very new you that is going to be emerging at the end of December. And it also can indicate, obviously a new beginning, and fulfillment, harmony, celebration, joy. This phase of your life is coming to an end for good reason, and we're all happy about it, and people are going to be happy about it with you and for you. There's going to be a lot of celebration coming with the holidays, and I think you're going to have good people around you. And the Thorn Bush is actually a card that can represent an ally, which is pretty cool too. I would say that it is almost like a protection, an ally, or like protection. Like it's a thorn bush. You hide in the thorn bush to hide from the wolf. So that's where you go to hide, and it is a card of hiding too. Or secrecy, but not in the deceiving kind. Sort of just that nobody knows. Whatever your situation is or what's going on, maybe nobody knows. Or if they do know, they're one of the few allies you have in your life. And I think this is a good preparation card maybe for the beginning that the world is bringing rather than the end that the world is bringing into your life. Kind of the indication of protection from the wolf, in that you are completely removing the wolf from your life. Whatever it is, if it's that way of thinking or that toxic person. I'm really getting a sense of like a dangerous, toxic person for this reading. And so, yeah, this is your advice in the terms of, you're preparing for this big change and this whole new, just shaking change in your life. Though positive, not a bad change. And you have all this awesome energy to channel into it. And I think it's really just going to be the removal and hiding from, this negative that you've been carrying around like a heavy weight on your ankles or on your shoulders. So that's what I'm getting from that card. For your advice card, we have the Page of Swords, and it is reversed. And I think that is pretty much just telling you that you have a lot of energy, and it's maybe not very focused right now. Like, we have this energy from the Eight of Wands, but it's like it could go anywhere. You might kind of go on a Google rabbit hole, and next thing you know, you've got all your focus on a totally different side project, and then you had all this other important stuff going on, and you're putting it on the back burner. And I think it's pretty much telling you, don't do that. That's not a good idea. Make sure that you are working with clarity. Make sure that you have like a level head every time you wake up and start to take that awesome energy and put it into action. Make sure that you're really thinking about what you're putting your effort into, because you want to make sure that it's serving you. Whiskers. With our Whiskers card, the Whiskers card is awareness and empathy and knowledge, actually, and a smart person. It can indicate a very smart person. And I think definitely with the Page of Swords and that high energy, Eight of Wands that we have going on here, we want to stay aware. We want to stay aware of what we're putting our energy into. We want to stay focused and use our smarts, or, use that ally. Maybe that ally in your life is that smart person who's going to help you stay focused on, what's important with this month. And I think what's important this month is celebrating the end of this phase and putting effort into the new beginning that it's bringing, and protecting yourself from the wolf, from whether it's maybe things aren't going to go as you planned, and that's always something that kind of knocks you off the wagon. Or again, I'm really getting this sensation of like a toxic person, or somebody who is just taking too much from you, or you need to distance yourself from them in whatever way is appropriate. That's really the sensation I'm getting. So yeah, with the Whiskers card, it just goes hand in hand with that Page of Swords. It's kind of perfect, actually. Just to stay focused and aware. Use your smarts, use your knowledge. Make sure you're not wasting this awesome energy that the universe has gifted you this month, because you are going to be a busy bee, and that's going to be kind of cool and good for you. I think it's going to help you transition into this new phase of life that the world is bringing. For your ultimate major arcana advice card, you guys got Judgment. And I think this is super interesting. When I first pulled these cards, I really felt like the wolf was out of place. And then I started seeing the thorn bush and the Judgment card, and I'm really feeling like, you're gonna have clarity in this new change in your life, and you're going to have sort of redemption, maybe. So the Judgment card is redemption, clarity. It can be consequences, obviously change. We've got big change with the world. We've got high activity cards here, like a lot of energy going on. And then you've got some nice people in your corner to help you stay on the right track. I think the Judgment card is sort of like, it goes hand in hand with the wolf, in that you are making changes in your life for the better, and what that's going to do is kind of give you a sense of clarity and a new sense of self, and it's also going to bring consequences to the wolf. Whether it's that person, they're going to realize that they were a toxic person in your life, and they're going to have to sit with the fact that you're not in it anymore, or they can't have that effect on you anymore. Or it could be like a toxic way of thinking that you have. You're sending your consequence, you're telling that way of thinking, or you're telling that habit in your mind, or that reaction that you have, that no, you don't have control over me anymore. This doesn't serve me. I'm no longer going to let it affect me. I'm going to make changes to be a different person and to have clarity, instead of letting this kind of get my thinking muddled up. So, overall, it's a very positive reading, definitely. Just that, make sure you're staying focused and you have your influences from the right people, or the right way of thinking, or you're being smart about things. Take that energy, run with it, make the awesome changes you need to make, and just kind of cut this toxicity out of your life. So that is the reading that I've got for you, Pink Quartz people. Like kind of heavy, not super heavy, just, make sure you're being smart about things, and you're gonna have a busy month, and hopefully the ending to a very good ending and a very good beginning for the next year, which is really cool. So I hope that resonated with you and kind of gave you some clarity. I hope maybe you heard some things that you needed to hear, or it's going to help you, with the month ahead. So thank you so much for letting me read for you. I really like this reading. I think I might be a citrine person. I think this is my group. But this one definitely speaks to me in a big way. But so citrine folks, how are you doing? This is your reading. I love this reading, I really do. So we have what is coming in December. We have the Seven of Swords, and we also have the Littermates. And right off the bat, that's how I know this is for me. The Seven of Swords is telling me that we are thinking of, well, it's kind of like, so it looks like it's a raccoon. The picture in this particular card is a raccoon holding on to seven swords, like looking over his shoulder as he's walking away. And so that gives me the image of sort of like we're hoarding or hiding a little bit. There's some secrecy, there's some solitude, or maybe hiding. And the theme of the Seven of Swords is definitely like deceit or independence, maybe, but it's not quite the Hermit card, right? And so I think what we need to be thinking about is we are probably an antisocial bunch, or maybe I should say introverted. I prefer that word, I think. So this month we're going to feel even more driven to kind of hang back and stay home alone a lot more, or I think be just more reserved in our personality and our interactions with people. And we should be thinking about why. I think a lot of us have told ourselves that it is a sense of independence, maybe, but it could really just be solitude, like we are truly hiding or avoiding even. And also what the secrecy is all about. Is it secrecy or is it deceit? Are we trying to let on that we're doing better than we're doing? Or are we trying to let on that we're being more productive than we're being? Or, what is it that's going on that's making us be so reserved? And how we can address that essentially and maintain our own personal comfort in being a little more secluded, but also not be so inaccessible. And with the Littermates, the Littermates is a card of family. It's a card of relationships, and it's also kind of acceptance and restoration of those relationships. And it can also indicate a family member. And I think, with the holidays around the corner, really here, the holidays are here, we're going to be surrounded probably by our family more than usual. And with this sensation of wanting to kind of be reserved and hidden, it would be really a shame to be that way with these people and these resources around us. And so this card is telling us to reconnect with our family and feel the acceptance that our family can give us and really embrace that despite wanting to be home alone all the time. For how we can prepare for this event or what's going on, we have the Two of Coins, which is like the pentacles for this particular deck. So there is balance. There is relationships, definitely, neglect, distractions. It's kind of like, think of like a juggler. There's a lot going on. The idea specifically with the Two of Pentacles or the Two of Coins is that you kind of have shaky footing. So I think we're going to feel a little awkward going into this situation. Maybe we're going to be surrounded by people we're not normally surrounded by, or it's going to be a lot or overwhelming, and we are just going to want to kind of like go away and hide or avoid it, essentially. But this card indicates that it is possible, definitely, to find that balance. And, we're going to have a lot of distractions coming into our life, and that's probably how we end up putting our relationships on the back burner. And we should definitely be able to share those things. And I think the acceptance that comes with our familial relationships is going to help us there. Our family's going to be accepting of our accomplishments and our focuses and our passions, and we should let them in on our lives and let them kind of appreciate those things instead of trying to hide them and be so secretive about it. And for the other preparation card is the Rolling Rabbit, and the Rolling Rabbit represents fun. The Rolling Rabbit is a fun person or a fun event. It is just having fun, basically. And I think it's an awesome card to go with this balance of our family relationships. And it's okay if they're not blood family, like your chosen family, definitely it applies to as well. It's the same dynamic for sure. But, what is a good way to kind of find our footing in a relationship and rebuild anything we might have neglected in the past is, I think, to have fun memories. Let yourself let loose, go to that family holiday party and be yourself and have fun and laugh at jokes and tell the jokes you normally wouldn't tell, and just, unapologetically be yourself and let people in on that portion of your life so that you don't feel like maybe you have to hide it away so much anymore. I think it's great advice, definitely, as far as how we can prepare for this sensation of wanting to hide. We should really just be having fun with the people that matter. And for our advice card, we have the Moon. And the Moon is interesting because it's very flighty, right? Like, it's very, there's illusion, there is doubt, definitely, but there's also intuition and spiritual messages. And I think this card is definitely telling us to kind of go with our gut feelings. Don't overthink things too much. So I think it's definitely telling us to follow our gut feelings and follow our intuition that we have, our natural intuition, but also not to get caught up in our fears and our doubts. Because I think our fears and our doubts are probably what ended up putting us in this situation where we feel a degree of separation from most people, or where we're feeling like we need to be more solitary or more reserved in our social life. So don't get caught up in that. follow, you know, your highest intuition or like your spiritual guidance. Follow that, like those gut feeling guidance messages that we're getting, and not getting caught up in like the fear and the paranoia of it all. And then also we got the sun. What are the chances, right? We get the moon and we get the sun for our advice cards. And the sun card is oneness. It's meditation and understanding, and it's a centered person. And so it's it could indicate that we have like a fun, centered family member that we can kind of hold on to in this trying time. But it also could indicate that we need to become that centered person. And that, you know, in order to use the advice of the moon, we should probably become very centered. And we can even practice some meditation every day so that, you know, we're making sure we're focused on the right messages and we're not getting caught up in our fears and our self-doubts here. And I think it's great advice, definitely, to go hand in hand with the challenges that we will be facing socially this month in December. And for our overall card, or our major arcana, we got the High Priestess, which I think definitely goes hand in hand with this reading. There's a chance that we are so reserved or independent or solitary socially because we are such floaty, flighty people. The High Priestess is a card of intuition, divine wisdom. There's sentience, right? This concept of just knowing all things, knowing how the world works, knowing things from like a major grand scale. And so some of the smaller scale stuff, which might be going to work, getting air in your tires, getting gas, right? Taking care of your groceries, and just that day-to-day humdrum, which includes talking to your friends and family and reconnecting with people. It sort of feels like unimportant, doesn't it? If you think this way, if you're thinking like the High Priestess all the time, like you're looking at the world kind of like the Matrix, right? And so I think with this card, it's telling us that there is a time to let logic and reasoning go, but there's a time to maintain it too. Because if we don't find our grounding and our centering, and we don't center ourselves here on earth every once in a while, we completely lose our physical connection to the world. And then what are we really watching or looking at? What are we really learning from? What good is our divine wisdom? It's not very good at all. And so I think that is an awesome card to kind of be the overview of this reading. So yeah, citrine people, we are floaty, flighty, probably a lot of air signs, probably a lot of people who just like to live, you know, maybe outside of reality. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is a demand for people like that in this world for sure. And it's probably why a lot of your friends and family love you. But they can only love you so much if you're not including them. And I think that's sort of the gist of the reading. I hope that it resonated with you, and I hope that it, you know, said some things you needed to hear, or that it, you know, it's gonna give you some good advice for the month to come. I really like this reading. Like I said, don't tell the other people, but I think this one's my favorite. And so yeah, I think it's time to kind of let go of our fears and include the people with us that we love, and be ourselves, and kind of center ourselves and allow ourselves to be a part of this world every once in a while, even though we kind of just want to go live in our fantasy world. So thank you so much for letting me read for you. And it's time for my Fluorite folks. Here we go. This is also a pretty cool reading, I think. I feel like there's a transformation coming up ahead for you guys. Like you're being a little bit challenged. So for what December is bringing you, we have the Knight of Cups, and it is reversed. The Knight of Cups reversed is telling me that you are probably feeling a little overwhelmed. Just in general, it's a very emotional time for you right now. I feel like emotions are high. I don't know if you got yourself into a situation, maybe a relationship, maybe you went headfirst into like a huge project or a new job. I mean, you could be moving right now, like there's just maybe like something really big is happening, and you felt like maybe reality hit you and you are feeling overwhelmed. Like there's just emotions are high. There's a lot going on in your little heart right now. And that's okay. This card is telling you that probably you came to for a reason. You're noticing what's going on around you for a reason. You aren't, like your head's not really stuck in it anymore, and so you can kind of see things from an objectional point of view, and it's a lot. That's why you're feeling so much about it. But just keep your head high, push through it. It's gonna be a lot, but you will get through it and it's going to be okay. So try not to like get bogged down by this, overwhelming sense of emotion you've got going on right now. The Carrot card that I pulled for you is the Roots card. The Roots card is solidity. It's telling you to hang on, just like I said, hang on. You're gonna get through it. And it also has a symbolism of permanence. There is potentially a person in your life that is going to be in your life for a long time, sort of like a soul connection. So there's permanence to the situation that's going on, but it's not all that bad. It also can indicate an authority person. So I don't know if it's like a boss or teacher, principal, that kind of situation, somebody that you answer to in whatever sense of the way. And I'm not sure if that person is going to be the permanence in your life that helps you get through this emotional time, or perhaps they're the one causing it. But definitely, just keep your head up. You got this. Hang on. It's going to be okay. You're going to get through it. And it should be over pretty quickly. Like, it's just a situation that you're going to have to change your perspective on, and things will probably get better or easier for you. So for your preparation cards, how you're going to prepare for this major event or prepare for this sensation or this emotion that you're feeling in December, we have the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is sort of like a victory card, right? So that's a good thing. That means that, like I said, it's going to end, it will pass, and you're going to come out on the other end successful. And that's a great thing. But we also want to make sure that we have a level head, like we're thinking morally, because we have all of these emotions running wild. We want to make sure we're not treating people unfairly because of those emotions. So it's important to feel what you're feeling, but try not to react so quickly. Feel what you're feeling in the safety and comfort of your own home. But when it comes to interacting with people, and especially the people in this situation, you're going to want to make sure that you're thinking about what's fair, and you're thinking about consequences, and what your responses are going to be, and how that's going to make other people feel, and if it's really helping or hurting the situation. So I think that's what the Ace of Swords is telling you. We also have the Babies card for your Carrot card, and the Babies card is cute. It definitely can mean babies for sure. It also can mean a new joy. So I'm thinking that a lot of you, maybe you went headfirst into a big relationship. I'm feeling a lot of sensations of like family units, being partnered. You're kind of at this stage in your life where probably the partner you're with, you are settling down with, and that is the new thing that's really scary. That's the reality you're coming to terms with. That there's a permanence to this relationship, and it could even potentially mean that there's kids involved, maybe kids by way of you or your partner, or it could be adopted children in the situation. And it's also telling us to enjoy your new life. You came to and you realized, holy cow, this is a really big deal. There's a lot going on. I'm feeling a lot of feelings about it. I'm maybe reacting a little emotionally here, but you got yourself into this situation for a reason, so maybe you can kick back and enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with enjoying this new, little fresh thing that you kind of got yourself into. And yeah, it's scary, but maybe the things that scare you about it, it doesn't really apply anymore. Maybe you're at a new stage in your life. And so you don't need to worry about what you're usually worried about. And that can be a scary sensation too. That could also be like a big emotional feeling that you've got. For your advice card, we have the Seven of Coins or Seven of Pentacles for this deck, and it is reversed. The Seven of Pentacles is telling me that there is happiness and there is comfort and there is change coming your way, but the reversal of it is telling me that it's not so subconscious, like it's not happening so smoothly. I think a little bit of work is going to have to be put in, and I think specifically our old ways of thinking is probably what's giving us this emotional response, and those old ways of thinking don't really serve us anymore. And so, that's going to hold you back. You are feeling these really big feelings and you want to go back to your comfort zone. And I don't think your comfort zone is really that great anymore. Maybe the situation you put yourself in is so new, that's why it's so scary, but it's going to be better for you in the long run. And it's going to require you to change your way of thinking and change your reactions and your responses for sure. But if you do that, you're going to be building yourself a stronger foundation to kind of take on life in a new way. And so I think, to me, that's what the Seven of Coins is telling me. Like, there's happiness, there's success, there's even like an element of family. You've got some wealth here. You are feeling comfortable and stable. There's a lot of support going on here. But it didn't just happen naturally. Like, you put yourself in that situation, and now you have to take ownership of what you want and what you're going for, so that you can make the changes you need to make in order for this to go smoothly for you. For your Carrot card, you got thistles, and the thistle card is sufficiency. It's the sensation that what you have is enough. You have exactly what you need. Taking on the situation, or responding to the situation, or feeling your feelings in moderation. Normally I think you would overreact and kind of run and hide or go back to what you know. And I think this card is telling you to, feel your feelings. Make sure you're not, being disillusioned or anything like that. Don't fall into the trap of being, don't change to the point of being taken advantage of. But what you're getting right now is exactly what you need. It might not be what you want, but it's definitely what you need. And if you make the adaptations you need to make in order to feel comfortable in this situation or this environment, it's going to be your just medicine, basically. Like, it's exactly what you are looking for, and you just might not realize it yet. So hang on, hang on, keep your head up. This will pass, and when it passes, you will come out victorious, and you are going to get exactly what you need, or exactly what you're looking for. You just might not realize that it's right in front of you, or that you're right on the edge of getting what you need or what you're looking for this month. So it is, it might feel a little stressful, but this is actually a very positive reading. You are just at the cusp of getting something really big and permanent and wonderful in your life. So you just gonna have to kind of put the work in to make sure that it's, it's gonna work for you, and you're gonna work for it too, because you don't get anything for free, right? You gotta put some work in to get what you want or what you're looking for. For your major arcana, or your overall advice card, you have the Moon. And I think the Moon is a pretty smart card for this reading. I'm glad that I pulled it, because it kind of goes hand in hand with this like comfort zone thing. Like, you might have this way of thinking that it's leading you to think that you're being deceived, or you have something to be worried or stressed about, because that's your old way of thinking. And I think that that's misleading you. And so we don't want to get caught up in the illusion of, your old thinking or your old life, or how things have gone for you in the past. I think we need to follow our instincts and our intuition, follow those, the wise messages of the Moon, and our spiritual messages that we're getting, and trust them and follow the right words. Like, we want to follow our intuition, our instincts. Instinctively, I think you're in a good place. It's just really scary. And so if you get rid of your doubts and your fears and all of the illusion that the Moon brings, and you follow your intuition instead, I think it's gonna help you end up in this place where you're happy and you have this permanent system. I'm feeling a lot of like children, family, possibly marriage. This reading is giving me like a very big family unit vibe. And so I think a lot of maybe normally single people are right at the cusp of starting something really permanent and awesome, but like, that's always scary. I'm getting that sensation. It could definitely be something like work related or passion related. Maybe you're starting a project that you didn't think you were ever going to start. But I'm definitely getting vibes of like trusting a partner, trusting a family, maybe bringing a child in to the world with this partner, and all of a sudden realizing how big of a deal that is and the permanence of it all. But I think ultimately it is going to be exactly what you're looking for and what you want, and it's going to be good medicine for you. So that is your reading, Fluorite folks. I really hope that it spoke to you. I hope that it resonated with you and gave you some advice that you might need to hear this month in December. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I really appreciate it.